Hey guys, welcome out to a new shiny edition of Pod of War. This is episode 1 of the new channel. I am your host, the EOF Gizmo, joined by Massive Dash Chris Bengali
Hello, everyone.
and Xbox Network's own CW Lanky.
Hello, happy Easter, everyone.
Yeah,
Going on Easter Sunday.
got the old mini eggs ready for
Lovely.
ready for Jesus. Jesus
Absolute
loves those
staple of
chocolate
Easter.
eggs. The staple. I mean, in the UK, it's almost a religion at this point.
Mm-hmm.
So in
I
addition,
made eggs already. So.
All of them.
I got like all of mine left. This is all I can eat now because the dentist soon. So enjoy my face because it's not going to be on camera for like a month after that. So before we get too into it, this is a new channel. You will be watching this if you have found this video. You're watching it on the Pod of War channel, which we've had for like a year, but then shenanigans happened and we haven't done anything with it. So I decided because that's how it works. That I was sick and tired of people telling me that they only wanted to watch wrestling content when we put out a non-wrestling podcast every week. So we're on the Pod of War channel. We want to do more stuff for it. We'll talk about it off the air probably. I mean, me and Chris used to do quite a lot of reviews and stuff in the old days of Pod of War, so we might try and get that back up and do some other shows. But we'll see what happens. There is a Twitch channel as well. It's twitch.tv/Pod of War. Nothing on there at the minute, but I'm literally going to force Craig on there somehow. It's probably going to be me playing a co-op game with Craig in Discord talking to me. That's what I think is going to happen. We might even try Outriders at some point because that might be quite fun.
That might be the easiest way.
That might be the easiest way. But welcome to the new channel. So with the new channel and the new thumbnails and everything, we are going to start this refreshed episode, Chris Pengelly, talking about what you've been playing, what you've been buying. Okay, I don't think anything's happened for Fantasy Critic this week. Am I right?
No, it has.
No,
Has it?
someone's picked something up.
Right, because you're going to have to tell me because I'm not risking switching stuff again. So early into this. So we'll start with Pengy. Pengy, what's going on?
I've not picked up anything.
I will get it on the
our
time.
league.
Don't you worry. I'll have a
So
look.
I have picked something up in the other league I'm in.
We don't care about them, Chris.
No.
You leave that for Nintendo. We don't work there anymore. But what have you been playing, Chris?
What have I been playing? I've been playing more Monster Hunter.
So how is Monster Hunter Rise, which came out like this week, right? Last week?
Yeah, it came out on 26 last week. I think I was 6 hours in. I was on the Monster Mash podcast, which is now up. It's got us on there, and it's got like their normal crew on there as well. But I'm now 17 hours into it. Done all the 1 star, all the 2 star, all the 3 star. Halfway through the 4 star. You can do you need to do these 4, and then you can unlock stage 5 by going through every mission or every hunt or quest, because you got to do some gathering ones and stuff like that. Deliver us some fluffy bunny dango now and again things. I'm doing all the quests at the moment, so I do all the 4s before I move on to 5 and continue on to that until I get to 6, which I think it only goes up to 6 in single player, but it will go up to 7 in multiplayer, which is its own set of quests. Yes, but very good. Easily the best game that's come out this year so far. Very good.
Said with such
What
authority.
weapon are you using, Chris? I don't think we've covered that before.
I am using the longsword.
Okay.
Yeah. So that is what I decided to go for. It's the one you actually start out with. When you get your ceremony to become a hunter. It's one you're given. But the day of, before it came out, obviously people that reviewed the game and stuff, putting up a load of videos, tips, and look at all the 14 weapons and stuff. So I spent a lot of time on the Thursday before it came out watching stuff, and I am going for the longsword. That's the weapon for me. So
It's a big decision and it's a commitment.
yeah,
it is. Yeah, I usually go longsword or board and sword if I have to choose. Just because I think they're better for solo. Because I quite like using the bow gun and stuff, but it's not fun solo. So fair enough. Obviously, we
it's multiplayer. I might try a different weapon. Something I did the switch axe, and I did the charge blade from the demo. There was 4 or 5 I liked in the demo because I tried all 14s. weapons against the easier hunt, and I did do the harder one with sword shield because I thought that's what I might go for because it's that simple-ish weapon. But like I said, people that been playing the game for like 50, 60 hours before it even sort of came out, see what what was going on, and like I said, longsword. So I got my cool armor and stuff. Same with my palamute, and from looking, it's a decent armor. Maybe even see me through all of 4, maybe even 5. I will have to get some new one for 6, but it's probably, especially if they go into 7 in multiplayer.
So what we need at some point, Chris, is a Chris showing off his armor video on the channel, Chris.
Okay.
Be a nice little project for you this week, maybe, Chris.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, so cool. So other than Monster Hunter Rise, obviously we've joked to you non-stop off air, you've obviously given up on Bravely Default 2. It's another one in the pile.
Pretty much. Yeah, pretty much.
From what I can tell, by the way, the Fantasy Critic website is down. So
they tweeted, I think, actually, it was having some issues.
So maybe we'll look into that next week.
It's going to give me all the points for new Pokemon Snap this month. That's what's down. Yeah.
We'll see. So nothing else, Chris? Just Monster Hunter. That's been your
no.
week?
There's another game I've been playing, which is complete opposite spectrum of Monster Hunter. That came out the same day as Monster Hunter.
Forgot about this.
What have I been playing? I've been playing Balan Wonderworld on Xbox. Yeah, so I picked it up.
So is it as bad as it seems?
No. Also, did get a physical on Xbox after moaning. Obviously, this is a new video on the old one. But until launch day, there was no Xbox version anywhere, even on Square's website. Clicked on Xbox, it would take you to the Xbox store. If you clicked on PS4, it would bring up or PS5 or whatever, it would bring up the physical from Square. You could get like a fancy collector's edition, whatever. But suddenly it came out launch day in every site. Only reason I know is because I got like a newsletter from Games like, oh, this week's releases, and it's like, Balan's got a physical Xbox version, which is by far the cheapest one as well, because I presume like no one pre-ordered it on Xbox because no one could. So I picked that up. It's not as bad as everyone makes out. Like, it's one of the worst reviewed games on Switch ever. And I've seen Nintendo Life, like their negatives were like terrible performance and like that. Obviously, I'm playing on the Series X, and it is like a Series X game with like smart delivery. But it's not a game that's really gonna use the power of the Series X, and it's a game that really shouldn't be running bad on the Switch. Like, you got Super Mario 3D World on the Switch that runs flawlessly, for instance. It should run better, so that's not really the excuse there. But it's actually just like a fun, like old school platformer. Like, if you liked Billy Hatcher on GameCube, you like Nights of Dreams on the Saturn, you like Sonic Adventure on the Dreamcast, guess what you're gonna like? You're gonna like Balan Wonderworld. If you don't like those things, you're not gonna like it.
Yeah, I mean, I like all those things, and I shan't be purchasing Balan Wonderworld. I'm guessing that the reason it's so badly reviewed on Switch is that whoever ported it or whoever did that version is like had like a week.
It's not reviewed brilliant on the other versions, but I think the Switch version is like 26 on Metacritic, and the Xbox version is like 57. Which is like,
you nearly took that for the old
that's a
well.
huge like 30 point like difference between those two versions, and there really shouldn't be an excuse for the Switch version that being that bad. Sort of thing. But it's the one that seems to be reviewed the most. I don't know, because it's a colourful 3D platformer.
I would imagine
obviously,
so.
the games I speak about, Billy Hatcher was GameCube exclusive, and I know the others are on Sega, but there's sort of that like Nintendo-ish history there. So I think that's why it's been reviewed mainly on Switch, because I think that's where it was going to do the best if it was going to do well. And it's sort of thing. So I'm playing 2 games at the opposite ends of the spectrum of quality.
And I'm sure you're going to finish them both, Chris. And I look forward. Look forward to the Balan Wonderworld review video. That's probably the one. Maybe that's where the priority should be.
It's a surprise 9 or something like that from Chris.
Yeah. We'll have to come up with our own scale though. So I don't know how you do that. Like, you give it 8 Craigs out of 10 or something. Just little Craig faces are on the bottom. It's easily done. Easily done. So cool. So obviously we'll try Fancy Critic later. If it wants to live, we'll pull it up. If not, we won't worry about it for today. Craigo, my sweet boy, what have you been playing this week?
So the last few weeks we've been playing the same games over and over again. I have been playing those two plus something else, but the something else we will talk about later.
Yes, we will.
So I've now finished Wreckfest.
Whee!
I got the finally did the last championship.
Nice.
After I think about 15 hours or something like that. So it's a decent length game. Enjoyed it a lot. I think there's the best parts of that game are like it calls them the challenges. Like I think there's one race where I'm literally a Robin Reliant and I'm against 23 big rig trucks, and you obviously your big rig trucks touch you and you go flying so far you're pretty much in a different racetrack. So I mean stuff like that is great. It does when you get to like the later couple of championships
That was my
start to do a lot of kind of longer events where you have like, oh, it's an 8 race event, and because it's like towards the end of the game, it's like, oh, we'll make it like 8 laps each event, and then it goes on and on and on. And that's kind of where the game's not as fun as just the silly stuff. Like, that's what it's a silly arcadey game having these big events where 8 races, 8 laps is just kind of not really what you want from it. So yeah, it's good, and the best parts of it are definitely the silliness of it.
Yeah, and I'd
So I'm
love
finished
to
with
play
that
multiplayer for sure.
Yeah, I've not played any multiplayer because it seems quite odd in the way they've done it.
It's old.
Yeah, it almost looks like a 360 game multiplayer where it's just not
that might even be generous, to be honest.
Yeah, not as simple and easy as you want it to be.
No.
So I'm probably done with Wreckfest now, and then the only other thing I played is more Near Automata. I've now. So I think last week I only had 1 proper ending. I've now actually got 3 proper endings and 1 joke ending.
Yeah,
so I've done all of the second playthrough of the second character, and then I started the third playthrough where you play as multiple different characters and you switch between them. The third playthrough is actually a lot different to the first 2. The first 2 are kind of like the same story but from different perspectives, whereas this is actually completely different. It's still set in the same kind of area and the same map, but it's a completely different story with one completely different character. So yeah, I'm going to go back and I want to get at least 1 more of the endings. I think Chris said there's 5 canon endings in that game. I don't know what the 5th one is.
I know one of them's one of the ones where you got to like delete or something, or you make a choice and then you delete your save or something, and that's one of the canon
when you've had the last ending.
Not.
Trust me.
Yeah.
Nice.
So yeah, I will go back and get more endings on that, and and then probably move on to some other shenanigans.
Yeah, do you think it's increased your willingness to buy Replicant when it comes out?
Definitely. I don't know if it'd be day 1 because I think there's some other stuff coming around that time which I might get instead.
Yeah, you're not too far away from Resident Evil, are you? Then you're only a month out.
Yeah, I think Judgment comes out around then as well, which I also quite want to give a bash. So I will get to Replicant. I think now definitely. I think I keep watching all the previews and that game looks great, so I'm kind of looking forward to eventually getting into that. And I do know my fantasy pickup if you want me to go into that now without going into the video.
Go on then.
So I picked up Nobody Saves the World for $20.
Are you out fucking bid me?
Oh, did you bid on it as well?
I did. I bid like 15.
Okay. So I saw, because the reason I didn't bid on this the first week it was announced because I didn't think it was going to come this year. And then I saw that there was a interview. I know True Achievements did an article about it. An interview with like the lead dev, and he said he was aiming for summer this year. And there's been a load of previews and stuff like that have gone up on like Easy Allies, where they've actually shown quite a bit of content. So I do believe that they will actually make it to this year. So yeah, and obviously those Dreambox games always review well. I think both Guacameles are mid-80s. And I think Severed. Is it Severed it's called?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that reviewed mid-80s as well, so it seemed like quite a safe pickup.
Yeah, one of my favourite devs, me and Chris, when in the previous version of this show, 3 or 4 years ago, we're massively into Severed. I actually platinum Severed in the end. That's how much I liked it. And obviously Guacamele's great. The Mutant Blob Attack games are great. So that, unfortunately, is another nail in the Craig's winning the Fantasy Critic coffin. So I'll have to rethink my plans. Yeah, I mean,
does leave me with one pick now. So it's just me and you've got one pick left. That's it.
we're both kind of hoping there's going to be some big, either some more delays, which has really been the year of delays, or some big stuff gets announced. It's a very weird year to do the Fantasy Crig, to be honest, because it's the most chaotic lineup I think of all time.
I think anything could get delayed this year.
And equally anything could get announced, because people might just be like, oh, let's not announce it yet because of COVID, and then it's ready next month, let's announce it. So as we've talked about many times, Chris, Nintendo have a horrible habit the last 12 months of being like, it's coming in 3 weeks, and you're like, okay, I'll get my pre-rolls in.
Yeah, I think if anyone's going to do that, it's going to be Nintendo.
I mean, Nintendo or Xbox, because of the whole Game Pass shenanigans, which we'll talk about in a bit, I suppose. So cool. I'm glad to see you've stuck with Nier Automata, because it is everyone that plays that game loves it. I've watched lots of story stuff, and I need to actually play the game myself. It's one of those that sits on the dreaded Dave backlog. But yeah, great stuff. So as for me, I've been playing Redacted, which we'll talk about later. Obviously, copious amounts of Football Manager, boys and girls, because my girlfriend had a COVID scare, so I've been at home for 4 or 5 days while she got tested. So I've had to move a week off sooner. So I've basically been off for a week playing games. It's been a lot of Football Manager. Has been one other game which I have finished. It's another on the finish list, and it is Spider-Man Miles Morales on the PlayStation 5. Really good game. So obviously since Chris played it on launch day, they've added performance ray tracing, which is basically ray tracing 60 frames a second at 1080p. Like it's dynamic resolution, but because I'm not playing in 4K, it's a rock solid 1080p for me, and it is the best looking game I've ever played. Even on, so I hooked up to my HDR TV just to see, and it is unreal. Like the ray tracing is so good. They even added a ray trace suit, called the advanced tech suit, that you get at the beginning, so your character's ray traced as well, and obviously because you do a lot of running along windows, so it's really impressive. Like it's probably the most impressive ray tracing demonstration I've seen. As for the game, Miles is a lot more fun to use than Peter, I think. Like he has a lot of extra powers, and they're just more fun to like attack. Like it's Batman, it plays like Batman still, but you've got a lot more options with Miles, which is cool.
Yeah, you got like his invisibility, so he's much
you've got the camouflage, you've got the Venom Punch, and all the skills around his like bioelectricity powers, which is kind of cool. I will say it is criminally short. Like I think so I did almost all of the. I think I did all the side quests, and I just need to go back and do all clear the map. But it took like 5 hours. I reckon you could do it in like 3. I reckon if you just did the story, you could do that game in like 3 hours. Which is disappointing for the price of the game, but I can understand it to an extent. It's if it was me, like I didn't pay for this, I got it as a present, I would definitely wait till this is 2025. I would not pay 40-50 for this at all. It's not enough content. To platinum, you have to play it twice, but the new game plus is.
You actually got to play it 3 times to get the platinum.
Really? Even then, it's not.
It's not
what you want. It doesn't add too much content. The new game plus, it kind of just opens up your skills and stuff because they carry over.
Yeah, it adds a few new skill challenge things. That adds 2 new slots or something, and I believe you can't quite get enough XP, so that's why you got to start the 3rd playthrough or something like that.
Yeah.
Sort of thing. Yeah.
Which isn't great.
So if you went for the platinum, I reckon it would push up to 15, maybe 20. Yeah.
But I think the average gamer isn't going to do that. I think the average gamer
they'll just do the story.
It is dropping quite dramatically already, price wise, because I think there isn't that many more PS5 owners, and they're kind of all done with all their games because they can't get the console. So those games are starting to get on eBay. Stuff like that. Dirt. Watch Dogs is hilariously cheap now. And what's the other one you bought, Craig? The one that's Breath of the Wild, but it's not. Phoenix Rising.
Immortals.
Yeah. So that's
is this PS5 only, or is this PS4?
No, it's on PS4. So, and it's a free upgrade. So I would recommend getting it on PS4. The PS5 version is actually cheaper. So I'm guessing there's more PS4 versions, right? Because there's more PS4s. So I'm guessing that's
why.
I
don't think the PS4 version sold very well, because obviously all the marketing, everything around it's PS5. I think a lot of people might have thought it was PS5 only, just due to the marketing around it, sort of thing.
And I think a lot of people bought the Ultimate Edition as well.
Because it's almost almost 1-to-1 sales of the PS5 miles to how many PS5s were sold. It was like 4.2 million miles to like 6 million PS5s or something.
Yeah.
So not quite, but it's pretty like it's the game mode. Like every PS5 is like picked up. Like you said, it's got like the decent ray tracing and it's Spider-Man. So,
and let's be frank,
like,
there isn't a lot of PS5 games.
Because if you bought Demon Souls, some people might think that's like too hard. Sackboy, not everyone's into platform. I think Spider-Man's safe, isn't it? I think anyone can sort of enjoy it.
It's also the cheapest of those options, because I think Sackboy's 60 and Demon Souls is 70. So it's if you're, and obviously Demon Souls is very niche in general. So it's like, I think if you were going to buy a PS5, if today you went out and buy a PS5 and you don't like Souls games, then I guess Miles Morales and Sackboy are the two exclusives you want. We are in a bit of a drought for next gen only games for both consoles, so I can kind of understand people are getting through that. But I enjoyed it. It was fun. I've never been that hot on the Insomniac Spider-Man game, like compared to God of War and Horizon. Like it's my least favorite of the three. Still great, obviously, but like I prefer Sunset Overdrive to Spider-Man, for example. If we're going, and I prefer Ratchet and Clank to all of them. So
yeah.
But yeah,
Ratchet has got a new update, didn't it?
Ratchet has a 60 frames update on PS5, and it changes the game because it's a good looking game anyway. But now it's really sexy and smooth, and I think we've all benefited and talked about the news at the minute is either Game Pass or games getting like 60 frames a second upgrades across all the consoles. That's kind of all the news at the minute. I suppose we can, before we talk about Outriders, we can talk about obviously MLB The Show. That's coming to Game Pass. That's coming to Game Pass day one. Sony developed game, which is kind of crazy. We've just had the big Cyberpunk update 1.2. Apparently, it's made the game worse on some consoles. So that's
I've not watched it because I was in work today, but I seen Digital Foundry posted a video. It's like apparently the PS4 Pro's version is really good now, but I don't. Apparently, it's like I didn't obviously read the whole thing as a bit clickbaity like the thing, but it sounds like the other systems might have ended up being worse. Yeah,
even the PS4 Pro version, it's smoother, but it's not better. Like they've changed the way it streams content, so it's like there's way more pop up and stuff. And it's like I know because me and Craig haven't played it yet, and we all have new consoles for the record, but it's like I keep going like I'm gonna play it, and then I'm like, just wait for another patch, and then that cycle's going to keep happening until the next gen version comes out, I think. And they've done the roadmap
for that next gen version.
I'm
not going to touch it until then.
It'll be on Game Pass as well, I think. I think it will be a Game Pass game
by then,
the end of the year.
Yeah.
If not, like you can get it on disc already for like 25, 30 quid on Xbox.
Yeah, and I believe they're dropping the multiplayer, haven't they?
It's now a separate thing, right?
Yeah, or something like that.
But they are putting more time into Gwent, Craig. So
they are. They've announced they're doing the old Witcher 3 update, aren't they, for this year?
Yeah.
Which I knew would happen just after I played Blood and Wine, after saying I was going to hold off for that. Yeah. So that's classic.
And a classic Pod of War PSA. You can buy the Game of the Year edition on both consoles right now for $6.99. So if you want a copy digitally to wait for the versions to come out, get in. I presume that the Game of the Year edition will also be an upgrade because obviously they're two separate SKUs. Surely their PR isn't that stupid to just do it to the standard edition, but we'll see. MLB The Show, Chris, any thoughts on that crazy news? Obviously, this is clearly MLB, not Sony, but what are your thoughts?
Yeah, because MLB are the publishers on Xbox, not Sony. So it looks like Microsoft's gone to MLB and gone.
I think it's the other way around. I think MLB's gone to Xbox. Yeah, I think they have.
They've gone. This is the first time.
I suspect it's part of the reason it's on this console.
Mm-hmm.
I'd imagine that was part of their thing.
Well, it was. Even Nintendo tweeted about it when the deal happened, maybe 12 months ago, 18 months ago, where Sony signed the new licensing agreement for the MLB games. So I guess, and that it was going to go multi-platform. Because if you don't, EA or Take-Two or whoever would get the deal instead. So yeah, but obviously there's no Nintendo version. Who obviously, like I said, tweeted about it when it was first contract of it was going to go multi-format. But MLB are the publishers on Xbox, so it's looks like they're obviously between Xbox and MLB. A lot of uproar on Twitter and that. I think Colin Moriarty was sort of thing. It's not that it's happened. It's like that's sort of like because obviously it's MLB and Xbox. It's not like Sony directors for like when they signed the contract. Like no one look at the site, like the small print or whatever, or like Sony like no response to it sort of thing. Is more of the thing because obviously it's now 50 or 60 quid if you want it on PlayStation, or £10 subscription if you want it on Xbox.
Yeah, the problem is as well is it's separate. They're separated versions, so I think it's I haven't looked on PS5, but on Xbox the pricing is £60 for the next gen and 50 for the current gen.
Yeah, on Game Pass it will have both.
On Game Pass will get both, and it will have 10% discount.
Yeah,
so
you could get
and when it goes to leaving soon, it gets a 20% discount. Now the thing is that the reason I think it's MLB's doing. One, I don't even think that Daddy Phil has got the balls to go. I wonder if the Sony game can come to Game. I'll ask. I don't even think an Xbox guy's had that thought. I just don't. And I think MLB are looking at it the same as there must be numbers for the EA Play stuff and Football Manager and F1 and NBA, which show. That if it's on Game Pass, more people buy microtransactions because it's
obviously that game has
Diamond Dynasty. It's actually one of the least predatory of the microtransactions, but it does have.
I guess the only other thing maybe they saw pre-orders and the Xbox version was really low or something, and they've gone, wow, maybe do a deal, get it on Game Pass or something.
Yeah, it's. I think they've looked and gone, well, this is going to help us in the long run. Obviously, in the UK, baseball is not really a thing, and two, there is no physical edition for any of the versions here. So it was, for us, if we were going to pre-order it here, which I've talked about on the show before, that I was quite tempted. Actually, it looks like quite a good game. It's digital only, and that's a £60 drop. For essentially a rounders game, right, Craig? So it's one of those you're like, okay, but it's coming to Game Pass day one as well. There's no delay. It's day one. I'm definitely going to pick it up because, like I said, I've been talking about it a few times. I want to give it a go. It's definitely one of those games that I would not. I'll give it a go. If I don't like it, it's no loss. I'll just delete it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it is crazy.
Did have 2 achievements on your profile?
Yeah, whatever. Like there's plenty of those, Chris. But it's interesting. I think the Sony angles. I think the thing that if I was a Sony fanboy, which I'm not really an Xbox fanboy either, but I'm probably more Xbox than I am Sony. It's just the sort of like sudden cheek of it. You're like, it's coming out in like 2 weeks, and I'm Mr. PlayStation. I buy it every year. I'm gonna buy it every year anyway, so I shouldn't really feel aggrieved. But it is just the scene. It's if you're a real fanboy, it's just seeing the other side, getting this basically. I know it's not free. I know we get messages that Game Pass isn't free, and that it's not free. But come on,
but even like I said, if you look at it as one's £10 or one's even if let's say the PS5 version, Series X version, too expensive, one's £60 and one's a tenner. That's a £50 difference.
Yeah,
even if you just wanted to play that game,
you can play that game for 6 months before it costs you what it costs you. So it's another.
This is going to be huge for them in the States, though, isn't it? Because I think it was in the top 10 of last 2 years of PlayStation game sales.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
so
if you think about that, it sells very well. Always reviews very well as well.
Baseball is huge in America and big in Japan as well, I guess.
Yes.
So you can imagine, launch week for this onto Game Pass, they're going to be pushing this really hard, and I'm sure this is going to be flying up the old Xbox player.
And also, like I said before, like the value of the Series S. If you've not bought a next gen console yet, and you're into baseball, you could get a Series S for $250. I presume it's $250. The same as £250.
Yeah, it's $299.
You get like I can get like I get an S. I get a month's Game Pass or something. I've got my next gen console. I've got my MLB, and I've spent $260 or whatever. Neither push that value.
And it's crossplay as well, so it's not like you're missing your friends if they're on PS4.
Yeah, exactly. it's more like also like the same day, I think, on PlayStation Channel, they put an MLB video up of like talking about like new features or something with like puppets. I don't get what the puppets are about.
The puppets have been the big thing for the trailers. I don't know why. I've watched all the trailers because I've been kind of following the game.
And that's like went up the same day, and I'm like, really, sort of thing. It's more like the lack of response and poor PR from Sony at the moment, because it's a Sony-owned studio, for instance, making it. They're publishing it themselves. They could easily
turn. It says PlayStation Studios when that game loads up.
Yep, they could easily put out a tweet going, "This month, at the end of the month on PlayStation Plus, MLB The Show's coming." Okay, it's not exactly the same because obviously you would only have MLB Oddworld, Days Gone, and I can't remember what the other one was, Zombie. Out before you'd have those 4 games this month, but you'd have a brand new MLB game at the same time. It's like the lack of any sort of response to it.
Do we think there will be though? No, do we think they actually will put it on Plus or their
no, I don't think there. I don't think there will be. Because it's also that thing. It's like if you own a PS4, being on Game Pass, okay, like you said, you're aggrieved that it's on there, but you haven't got an Xbox to play it on, or if you've got a PS5, you haven't got an Xbox to play it on. Again, like saying about the value of the Series S, Microsoft could really drum home that, value of that. We'll get this next gen console. We have like your favorite sports game on it, and we also have FIFA, and we have NHL on it as well this month coming. It's like Madden's already on it, for instance. So it's like if you target like that sort of audience, like
which is the Xbox audience in America.
Yeah,
the Xbox audience is the sport audience. It is here as well. To be fair, all of my friends that play FIFA play on Xbox, so it is like okay. It's one of the things. I mean, Sony have had a bad month because obviously they've had the news story about them shutting down their stores for their older consoles. Very short notice. It's upset a lot of game developers. A lot of game developers did not know about this, and they've had to cancel their games. And as a former developer, it's a lot of time, love, and money goes into making video games.
Yeah, so some I see on about rushing their games out. Some have cancelled their games and that mainly for the PSP and the PS3 weren't really getting any new games. It mainly affected the Vita of the 3 consoles. I can understand the closing. Like I remember the Wii closing, but I think Nintendo gave like a year's notice, and they gave like breakdowns. So like it was like point 1 was like it's gonna close. Point 2 was like you can only buy stuff if you already got a balance. 3 was like you can only re-download stuff if you already bought it. And 4 was like totally closed. That was it. The Wii was done. Comparing, which was actually closed rather quick compared to. But even the Vita, which would be the newest of the 3, like the Wii was closed pretty quick. But obviously Nintendo gave good timing with that. And again, no one was really developing WiiWare games at the time. Obviously the Vita, we've seen people tweet going back to Colin Murray, his CEO Linimo just bought a Vita dev kit, sort of thing. So it's like that bad aspect. Like closing the store, it costs money. Hardly anyone using PS3. It's PS3 now. We're on PS5. It's just everything around it. It could have gone, not sold that Vita press dev kit, for instance, sort of thing, or gave like 12 months, or even in the end of the year, I guess, like December 31st, stores closed.
And I guess the weird thing is as well, because I think I'm right in saying that on your PS5 you can't even digitally buy like PS3 games. Is that right?
No.
You can.
So when you compare that,
that's it.
Yeah. So when you compare that to kind of the backwards compatible that other
it's a weird one because there's more
are doing, it's strange.
Games on the PS5 backwards compatible because there's more PS4 games, but it only goes back to PS4. And obviously you got PS4, so there's more games. Selection, a bigger library, but it only goes back one generation.
Yeah, and there's a lot of shit on PS4 mine as well, isn't there? Let's be honest.
Yeah, and I bring up Nintendo obviously with like the Wii. That's like the newest example this has happened. Obviously, the OG Xbox. I remember that closing. I remember people still playing Halo 2 for days after it actually shut because like games weren't ending or whatever, and it's still going. But like even Nintendo, this literally a couple of days ago, can't buy 3D, like the Mario collection anymore. Digital Mario 35 and Fire Emblem is all gone now from the eShop and stuff. Both of those companies got a huge legacy in like lack of preservation from those games. I know Nintendo like you could say they brought back Sunshine and did a translation of Fire Emblem, but they're now gone again. Both of those companies could do way more with their older stuff. It's just kind of like ironic that the company of the least history, Xbox, is doing the best job out of the three of like the big ones.
I also kind of think that's a little bit unfair now because they have been around for 20 years. They've got 4 consoles worth of content, and to be fair to them, like this week or last week, they're right. So you can play 360 games now on your phone through xCloud, and they've added touch controls. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
16 of them.
It's still in beta. That it's still a beta service. And you can do that. Like me and you personally, Chris, have what? Probably between us 100 physical games for both consoles.
Yeah,
and we can play them on I can play on my Xbox One, given I don't have I've got an S. So, but it is like, unless they've got some plan to do something similar, it's crazy to me that they've just announced it for like 3 months' time. It's crazy to me because it's not just that there's less legacy games on Xbox or there's more on PlayStation. It's whole franchises that you just cannot play now.
Yeah, well,
and we don't even know for sure if, because some games, the way the PlayStation 3 works with the store, it won't take much for them to not work. If they suddenly shut, like at the minute you can re-download your games. If that only lasts 6 months and they shut the store,
that's the thing I was saying.
The console needs to ping, so it might even be games you've bought you won't be able to play in a year's time.
Like I said, going back to the Wii, for instance, and obviously Nintendo gave like a list of like this is happening on this day. I have Castlevania Rebirth downloaded on my Wii U. If I deleted that, that's it. I can't get it back. There's no way to re-download that because there's like nothing, nothing Wii related available at all anymore, even on the Wii U. So obviously, I'm not gonna uninstall it. Obviously, that situation does make me also wonder when's the Wii U gonna get cut off? Because, like I said, Nintendo did it quite early into the life of the Wii U. The Wii, I remember the Wii U was backwards compatible with the Wii. Switch isn't, so it just make me think, how long have we got left until the Wii U's digital front still available? Because it's got a fantastic virtual console on there. That's most probably its still biggest strength. And same with the 3DS, because I believe that's already been cut off in Central America.
Yeah.
So, like, how long until it gets cut off elsewhere? Those are like the next 2 big sort of consoles that like it could happen at any point. I can't see many people buying stuff on the Wii U. Maybe on the 3DS because there's so many of them out there.
But my 360 from 2005, I could turn it on now and download a game.
Yeah.
So it's again, we don't want to sound like Xbox fanboys, but it's more kudos to Xbox. They keep doing this good PR, and the way it's going, they just need to get some of their first party games out, and I don't think there's going to be much stopping them this gen, to be honest with you.
It shows how important backwards compatibility is as well when you see kind of the uproar about it. That's the last couple of weeks on Twitter and whatnot.
And obviously,
whenever they say no one cares about old games, well, I mean, clearly people do care about old games.
Yeah, it's a weird one because I remember when the 2 Xbox One and PS4 launched and went back, and it was Cliffy B was putting out like there's some like statistics and like no one played like original Xbox games on 360. He obviously was working on Gears, so I guess he could see the data, and like no one played original. So that was like no one cares about these games. No one's played them. I think Xbox obviously good job. Could obviously. Still more like only 30 original Xbox games are backwards compatible out of like 500 or 600 games, but obviously they could add more in time.
I'm guessing as well, like with those era of games, it's more licensing than actually getting on. Because a lot of games from that era have like soundtracks. Like I really want Burnout Takedown, but you're not going to get the soundtrack license to put on the digital store.
No, but there's got to be an odd few that, especially if they've own Bethesda. There's 2 Wolfenstein games. No, there's definitely 1 Wolfenstein game on Yeah, on original. There's
That'll
one on 360.
That will probably come. Yeah, there's two.
Yeah,
There's a 360 one and there's an original Xbox one.
Yeah.
Yeah, as well as like the Doom. The thing is with the Xbox, the Doom games that are on original Xbox have all been updated for 360, and they're back there. And I think they've been updated for Xbox One actually. So they're all on there and stuff. But yeah, I think again, I the thing with backwards compatibility, I use it relative amount for particularly for RPGs that are on the 360. But I'm sure if you loaded up any of the Call of Duties, people are playing backwards compatibility. Black Ops 2 is always in the top 50 for most play games on the console still. So, we'll see. But anyway, let's get on to the topic of the show. The tots if my face gets darker as natural light leaves me. One of the things we've been playing that's come to Game Pass and was a big talking point for the last couple of weeks was, of course, Outriders. So me and Craig have been playing some Outriders. We play it together when we can, Craig, because the servers are getting a bit bashed. What are your?
They've been very open about that.
They have. They've been tweeting about it. They've been saying, "Look, we weren't expecting
every hour.
We weren't expecting this many people to play it. We didn't realize how many people have Game Pass."
Yeah.
And they were brave as well because they've been going. They launched with crossplay, so it was the crossplay servers. I imagine are pretty difficult to code and set up and stuff. So fair play to them. But for what you've been able to play, Craig, what are your initial thoughts?
So, the gameplay is very good. The gunplay is solid. It's Gears of War like. The controls are weirdly mostly Gears of War like, but they changed the odd thing, which is really weird. It kind of throws you off when you
can't copy the homework, Craig. Can't copy the homework.
It is literally like that. They've just changed something to make it seem different. The actual powers that you have from your different classes that you pick are probably the best part of the game. I personally picked the Pyromancer, who is the flame guy, and just running around setting people on fire and all the crazy stuff. You can have bloody flame bullets and whatever else. That is the best selling point of this game. It really does make you feel kind of godly to have all these enemies on screen getting set ablaze and all of that good stuff. So that is definitely where this game shines. I think me and Dave have found the story pretty poor, although I do actually weirdly, in almost like an 80s action movie way, kind of enjoy the cutscenes just because I find them kind of funny. I don't think they're meant to be.
There's just no tone in the way that I am. Because it's like trying to be serious 1 second, and then your guy's just like an asshole, and it's okay.
Yeah, like I said, the script and the voice acting is very kind of basic, let's say. It's not very advanced or anything like that. And it has some weird jankiness as well. There's a lot of odd transitional cutscenes in that game. Let's walk up to the side quest. You go to start the side quest, and your character every time has to transition to a cutscene, open the door, then transition back. And you're like, does that really need to be a cutscene? Could we just assume that you open the door and walk through? So, but yeah, the actual gameplay of that game is very good. The kind of gear grind is natural and good. Different weapons all feel kind of unique. I really like the automatic shotguns. Are probably my favorite weapons that I've picked up and probably used the most. Yeah, it's an exciting game. I kind of gutted that the servers keep messing up because I think it was the last night we tried playing and got cut off. So it's one that I want to play it more, but at the moment, unfortunately, you can only play so much before the servers get killed. Mainly by those Americans.
Damn Americans.
You don't want to flood them. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I pretty much echo what Craig said. It's fun. I'm playing the ranged Technomancer class, and it just feels so good to just throw down a turret and then throw down another power, and then kind of combine the three that you have into a way of killing. And like Craig said, the loot is pretty good. The crafting system is surprisingly decent. Wasn't expecting a lot. It really wasn't, and it's pretty fun. I think the thing with it is it's pretty generic, and the characters are kind of dumb, but it's just kind of raw fun. It's really satisfying. It's not a game I think I'm gonna look back on in 4 years time and oh man, what a game. But I woke up this morning and I was like, do I text Craig, see if he wants to play? You know what I mean? Like it's one of those, like, I really am itching to get through it, but yeah, it's other than the servers, it's had a good launch. You know, I think it's had a good launch. And it's strange because it's one of those games as well that it really does pay to be aggressive, which is different. Like, 'cause obviously your health doesn't naturally regen; it regens from doing something. For me, it's causing damage. I think for you, it's power damage. Maybe I can't remember what they're all different.
No, for me, it's actually doing damage to enemies that have been like set alight,
Ah, cool. So
which is really cool.
mine is just all
So
damage.
like encourages me to, use my powers to set a group of guys on fire and then to run in and start, blasting the hell out of them, and then that will increase my health. I think I think it was Skill Up did in his video. After a while in that game, you realize that the cover's not for you, it's for the enemies. And that is very true. You start the game thinking it's going to be a cover shooter or playing like that, and very quickly you realize that actually I'm this kind of like godlike figure who can just kind of run around and,
Yeah.
set people on fire and whatever else.
So for my class, it's the cover class. Because what you do with my class is, instead of, because you don't have a health pack, you basically throw your turret over the cover. It bips you some health while you're in cover, and then you come out and then you play, basically. So it's the only, so the range class, I think that's what, because I presumed when it said ranged, I'd be getting loads of ranged weapons, but we get the same weapons. Yeah. So what it is basically is my character is the slow character. So because I need to cause damage to get health back. If I need health, I jump into cover, I throw out all my toys, they get my health back up, I come back out, I shoot. I mean, it's kind of thing. And it's cool that we're playing two different characters that look identical and have the same gear, and we're having a completely different gameplay experience. And they work off each other as well. So when we're playing together, we'll get into a boss fight where I'll freeze it, you'll set it on fire, you're getting your health back, it's slowed down, and it's just this great combo. And we're only playing with two of us. Like, I can imagine when you got a third in being the trickster or the sort of destruction guy, that you're getting even more synergy, and it's good. I mean, we weren't going to buy this game, so it's another, Xbox Game Pass selling game, because it is definitely worth your subscription. It's 100% worth a month. If they fix the servers, I'm imagining for the next week it's going to be battered until people drop off. But it's fun. The achievements don't seem too bad as well, Craig, which is always a thing for us. But yeah, see, Chris, you just played the demo, didn't you? So did you have any?
Yeah, I've not played
demo?
the actual. Yeah, I've talked about it before. I thought the demo was fine at the time. Obviously, it wasn't announced for Game Pass. So I was like, no, this is fine. If other people pick it up, I might play it. Or if I see it like dirt cheap in like 6 months' time or something. And obviously, it being on Game Pass and like you just got the free player multiplayer, worth playing. One of the chaps in work has played it. He was playing on the One X, I believe, and he was saying about like he was doing like he did like do a mission and then like get booted out or whatever. And he's like, I'm playing on by myself, but it's just unfortunately it's a game that's always online, and obviously with service issues, it's not great. But yeah,
it runs really well as well on the definitely the Series X. I imagine on your Series S though, because there's a lot going on. When you play in this, there's a lot of enemies, a lot of kind of particle effects, and people getting, like you said, half the enemies might be frozen, half of them might be running around on fire. From what I've done, and yeah, it doesn't seem to like drop frames or anything like that.
No, and I imagine the transition cutscenes are for older generations load times, because it is server based and it's crossplay. So what it has to do is create. I imagine each of the zones are its own zone instance. That's probably why the servers are getting smashed, because it's not one server everyone's playing on. It's creating little instances of this map, for example. So
okay, I've not played it. Like I said, I played them. Can you play at different challenge levels? Because I know it's just like the Diablo like thing where it's like challenge 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or worlds, whatever it's called.
It's
so can you play it 4 and
the
Craig
host's
6?
choice?
Okay,
but I think it might scale based on level, because obviously you might not necessarily be the same level. So I'm pretty sure it scales. We're playing on the highest possible that we can. I think it's World Tier 6, because we've got the big balls. Me and Craig, we're not used to this easy game mode stuff. Me and Craig. So, but yeah, so the difficulty is fine, and we've died a couple of times, but not a lot. I think if there was 3 of us, we'd probably be on a higher difficulty level. I have a feeling, because obviously it would account for that. But no, I'm very impressed. It's one of those things. I hope that they can fix the servers sooner rather than later. There isn't a lot of stuff coming out in the next couple of weeks for Xbox players, really, I don't think. Nothing obvious that I can think of, other than MLB The Show in 16 days.
Yeah.
So it's...
I don't... Near's 23rd, something.
Near's the same
Judgment.
time. It's the 23rd, yeah, Judgment.
Yeah.
Again, I can't imagine, other than Craig, I can't imagine the crossover from Outriders to Neo Replicant is that much. But either way, like, you know, as far as I know, Nier isn't coming to Game Pass yet, but you never know with Square Enix at the minute.
No, Square Enix can do anything.
They love a cheeky bit of Game Pass. So cool. So that's our first impression of Outriders. Hopefully we'll be able to do a review video at some point. It'd be fun for me and Craig to do a review video, because obviously Chris is dead to Chris now. He's a Monster Hunter kid for another week, and then he'll be on to something else. As soon as Pokemon Snap comes out. So maybe we'll chuck up a...
All 2 hours of it.
All 2 hours of it. Game of the year. So that's the Outriders. Obviously...
Best 2 hours ever in games.
Indeed. So as I, again, descend into darkness in this room, with the light on and the window open, by the way. Just put this light to my face so you can see me. So what's the big plans for the week then, boys and girls? Obviously, Craig's almost, I imagine from what you've just said, you are not far away from the end of Nier. Like, you are very close to the end of Nier.
Yeah, like I said, I pretty much got the third ending a couple of hours ago. I'm pretty sure I can figure out how to get the fourth ending, and then I'll see if I can figure out how to get the fifth one.
It's all round about the same area. All those.
Yeah.
So
and then I'll probably move on. Obviously, I finished Wreckfest as well, so I could probably do with like Wreckfest has been a fun little like secondary game, where if I've come home from work late and I'm like, I just want to play something for like an hour and just chill. So I might try and find something similar to that.
Football Manager. There you go.
There's no an hour on Football Manager. That's a
I've done 3.5 seasons in 2 days.
Exactly.
I got a Football Manager story actually when Craig's done. So go on, Craig. So what you got your eye on? What have you had a look on Game Pass? Is there anything that tickles?
There'll probably be a couple of indie games. I've got Genesis Noir installed. I kind of want to play that. Doesn't sound like that's like massively long. Sounds like it's like 4 or 5 hours. So I'll give that a go. And then I want to give Narita Boy a go as well, because that's also released day one on Game Pass and it's reviewed fairly well and looks pretty damn fun.
Excellent. So my Football Manager story, because I've just remembered. So a couple of months ago, Chris Pengelly was on this podcast, and he was talking about his time at Red Bull Salzburg.
Yes.
So I thought, I need some achievements. I'll load up Red Bull Salzburg. I have never done a Football Manager as easy as being Red Bull Salzburg, Chris. I haven't lost a league game in 3 seasons. I won the Europa League in my first season. I've got 300 million in my bank because all the players are worth pointless amounts of money. I was just like, this is the easiest thing in the world. I was like, no wonder Chris has gone for this. But Red Bull. So if you
that was random, remember, Dave? Could have been anyone.
Yeah, it could have been anyone. But honestly, I could not believe how broken Red Bull Salzburg are. Like literally, I literally put out the team that they've got. Didn't buy anyone. Won every game in the league. Won the Europa League. But I've got more achievements. I'm sat on that. I'm getting closer now. I'm not too far from. I've got like 25 achievements left of the 94. I must be one of the highest in the world on that game now. It must be. It must be getting pretty close on true achievements. But yeah, Chrissy boy. So when you've bored of Monster Hunter, what's the next game?
Right, so I'm on holiday now, so we'll be playing more Monster Hunter, more Burn Wonderworld, and I may play Deliver Us the Moon because it's leaving Game Pass. I think it leaves on the 15th, so and it's not that long.
It's worth playing. It's a very good game.
Yeah. I kind of get it's leaving because it's getting a next gen update, so it's like leave, and then if you want the next gen, you have to buy that one. So, but yeah. So I'm actually play that. That's about it. Maybe, who knows? A cool indie might drop. Looks like 12 minutes is coming at any point. So could be a tweet. 12 minutes is coming out Thursday. All we know. So
nice, Pengy. And obviously, at some point this week there might be some new Pengals videos on the new channel. So check that out. It's Pod of War on YouTube. You will know because you're watching it on that channel. As for me, as I've finished Spider-Man, I've still got 4 days off myself, so I probably should. I've been toying with the idea of playing one of my many JRPGs, and as Craig knows, it never goes well. So I don't know. I do have a hankering because I don't know if I want to do a video about it, but I kind of want to get back into Final Fantasy. Like, it used to be my favorite franchise.
There's got to be some JRPG on Game Pass that you can.
There's a lot. That's the problem. I mean, it's Dragon Quest 11, which is supposed to be the dog's bollocks when it comes to JRPGs. It's also a Dragon Quest game, so it's probably 200 hours long. You've got, obviously, Final Fantasy 12 I've never finished. You've got Kingdom Hearts. I've only done a couple of them. You've got bloody Yakuza I could do. We've got Tales of Vesperia I haven't played since it came out on 360. So, yeah.
I feel like this could be a weekly segment where we do on the show where you give us kind of a choice and me and Chris basically pick for you what you play that week.
Problem is, none of those games I'm going to finish in a week, Craig. That's the
one he actually showed me here earlier. I think because he got it on Xbox, not PlayStation, because it's Final Fantasy. I reckon you should still just play Type 0.
See, Type 0 is one of those, right? Because I enjoyed what I've played of Type 0. So
yeah.
Hang on, Craig. For reference, I know it's pitch black in this room. Type 0. There you go.
No.
That's a physical Final Fantasy game on Xbox One, Craig. So yeah, Type 0 is a spin-off game that was on the PSP that's set in the same world universe as Final Fantasy 13, which obviously is my favourite game, as you know. It's always looked fun, but it's very similar to Fire Emblem Three Houses, which I've just finished.
Yeah, because it's cool.
It's got like the whole like use your time to like do stuff as well, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that might be a miss for me. I could go back to Final Fantasy 13. So like
that went so well last time.
I'm making Chris do a video about this. Okay, so get ready. This is more. I'm off script now. We're going inside baseball. I have tried so many times to finish that. I've never got to Grand Pulse. Everyone's always like, you need to get 20 hours in, then it gets good. And I get to like 15 hours in, and my wrists are dripping with blood, and I just can't do it anymore. I don't know if I need to try and power through or what, Craig. But
that might be one of the worst kind of compliments for a game as well ever, when people are like, oh yeah, you need to play like 15 hours and the game's really great, and you're like, I am not wasting 15 hours to get to a certain point in the game for it to get good. I don't care how good it is. I have
2 copies of it. I have 2 copies of it, and I've never got to the fucking bit everyone says is good. Or I could just play Lost Odyssey again, which is the best game. So
you could do that.
But will we ever get Craig to play a turn-based RPG? That's really the question. What will it take, Craig?
I played Haven. That was kind of turn-based.
Yeah, that's not like an indie game. Let's get that shit away from you, Craig.
Yeah.
I'm thinking more Dragon Quest. That's what I'm thinking.
I was about to say Dragon Quest.
You'll be Yakuza Like a Dragon. That'll be the one that gets you.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah, sorry, I don't know why I said Dragon Quest. Yeah, Yakuza Like a Dragon coming to Game Pass will be probably the one.
Well, the plot to that game is that the guy likes Dragon Quest, and I'm not even joking. So
yeah, I know.
Love it.
So that would be because I kind of want to play that. I know Chris is obviously an expert in that game. It's one I wanted to play, but I didn't want to spend money on because obviously it being turn-based is a little bit scary for me. Almost as scary as that camera for Dave, because it's like, well, if I pay £40 for it and I don't like it.
Look how bright it's like daylight outside.
It's like you're in a cave.
it's daylight outside. We need to find a new lighting solution, gang. Cool. Well,
but yeah, if Like a Dragon was on Game Pass, that would be
I think it's going to come to Game Pass, right? I mean, every other one is on Game Pass, so it's a matter of time. I keep seeing it in the sales, and I keep thinking about it, and I'm like, nah, it's going to come to Game Pass. 100%. How far did you get with that one, Chris?
I'm on Chapter 3.
Oh, Chapter 3 doesn't sound like very far into the game, Chris.
I think it is on your backlog list, actually, Chris.
It's on my backlog list.
Yeah. So it's one that you obviously have sworn that you're going to get back to.
We might have to do a top 10 video of games Chris has bought and not played for more than like 2 chapters this year. Then that might be a video by the end of the year. Big production value video. Chris didn't play that. Didn't like it. It's still in his wrapper. He's like, oh, Chris. Oh, Chrissy, my boy.
Yeah.
Right, well, as I've got literally no daylight left, it's been fun. This is lightless Dave. You can see my teeth. Thank you for watching the new edition of Pod of War on the new Pod of War channel. Don't forget, smash that subscribe button because we need to get to 100 subscribers so we can change the URL Hit the like button as well because of the algorithm. I hate doing this, but you really have to do it. Look out for more content. There might well be some Twitch streams, and I said I'm going to pressure Chris into doing a video this week about something. I don't know what it's going to be. I'll leave that up to him. Chris can do best Monster Hunter monsters, and all of his Monster Mash friends hate him because it'll all be wrong. It'll all be the opening. It'll be the little things you fight at the start of the game. Yeah, I love the raggies, mate. They're great. Yeah, love it. But yeah, thanks for watching, and we will see you on this channel next week.
Bye.
Darkness Wave, and I'm gone.